it's a positive film. It has heroes and villains, and that it essentially is a fun movie to watch. It's been a long time since people have been able to go to the movies and see a sort of straightforward, wholesome, fun adventure.
Well, it's a fantasy. It's not science fiction so much as it is space fantasy. And it's about people. It's finally about people and not finally about science.
The story, when you actually put it into words, is only so much nonsense to hang a great visual experience onto. It's the stuff that fairy tales are made of.
Sort of boiling down religion into a very basic concept. The fact that there is some deity or some power or some force that sort of controls our destiny works for good and also works for evil.
Marvellous, healthy innocence. Great pace, wonderful to look at, full of guts, nothing unpleasant. I mean, people go bang bang and people fall over and are dead. But, no horrors. A sort of wonderful freshness about it, kind of like a wonderful fresh air.
It's got whatever you want it to be. It's pure entertainment. It's like a roller coaster ride, and it can be interpreted as long as you enjoy it, which is the intention.
Hello and welcome back to Generation Skywalker. I'm Stuart and this is The Modern Way, episode 26 of The Modern Way. Joining me tonight, I have got Jez. Good evening, Jez.
Good evening, Stu. How are you?
I'm all good, my friend. All good. I've got Petey Lee with me. Good evening, Pete. Welcome home.
Evening, Stu. How you doing?
I'm all good. And we've got the Burgess, as he's asked to be called from now on. Only in intros and outros, so the Burgess. But good evening, Dan.
Hello there.
Well, we're recording this. It's today, the 15th of January. It is Craig's birthday today. Yeah, quite fitting that we're recording a podcast in the evening. He loved to get involved in a bit of modern chat, didn't he? And look at the lines and look at the packagings, and he used to either love it or hate it. There was kind of he was good on these shows. So we need to bring that to the forefront tonight. But let's introduce. I mean, Modern Way. We did record one in I think we released two actually in 2024. I think out of the 6 shows, I think there was 2 Modern Ways in there, wasn't there? I might be making it up. I think there was one.
It was just one.
Yeah,
just
the one
in August. Yeah.
Yeah. So it has been a while. So we're going to be doing them slightly different. We want to shorten them up. We won't be doing releases tonight. Anything new? We're going to have a kind of brief look at what 2024 gave us, but nothing too in depth. We're just going to give you a quick overview of it. And then we're going to be discussing a certain topic, which tonight is the retro collection after the pipeline reveals at Farthest From. So that is tonight's show. But it has been a while, and I want to know, what is your current situations with modern? I know things change all the time with collecting. So where are we with modern collecting? Anything you've recently purchased? And plans moving forward, modern-wise? What have you got in your head? And let's start with PD.
No change really. I haven't bought anything since. Well, I don't think I bought anything last year, which is kind of, I don't know, not great. But I keep an eye on it, especially on the sort of the retro stuff, the vintage collection stuff. Not so much the Black Series, but I do kind of keep an eye on what's coming out. And I've got a wish list, but more window shopping for me, I think, on the all the modern stuff. I think the vintage, like the true vintage stuff, is where I'm sort of putting my funds, and I think that's just more of a priority, and I think there's just more stuff there that I want to get. But there's certainly a few bits that came up, which I'm sure we'll get to tonight, that it really are tempting me back in. But I know once I sort of get back in, it's a slippery slope, and I can see myself sort of being knee deep in figures before too long. But at the moment, I'm still resisting.
I hadn't kept up to date very much last year, and actually looking through the list tonight, there was a couple of things I thought, oh, that is really nice. They do nail some stuff, the modern.
Yeah, just tying into what they know what the collectors want. It's obviously aimed at collectors, isn't it? And they know they're getting really good at that. So.
Well, you are going to be buying a hot toy this year. I think we do need to get that ticked off. Dan, I know that you are selling it to fund vintage as well. So is that still the case?
not necessarily to fun vintage. It just got a little bit stale. I've sold off most of my vintage collection, or the vintage collection now. I've got a couple of ones that are still left that I really like that I'll hang on to. Black Series I've not been into for a while. Hot Toys, I've got rid of a few of them because I've decided just to focus on Empire Strikes Back Hot Toys so it doesn't get out of hand, which has been nice. So I've reduced my Hot Toy collection by about 50%. And then, literally, I think a day or so, no, maybe it was a bit before that, the Chewbacca, we'll probably talk about it in a bit, the Chewbacca came out. Maybe we spoke about it back in August. The Chewbacca with the C-3PO on his back from Empire.
Did, 'cause I pre-ordered it the following day, yeah.
Okay, so I've got that on pre-order now. But I got a Geeky Tiki for Christmas. I got a Emperor's Royal Guard, and I live vicariously through Harrison on Lego, and he's picked up a couple of sets since we last recorded. So we got that Black Millennium Falcon Tantive 4 corridor scene with Vader and Stormtroopers and Rebel Troopers. So that's quite nice as well, but that's about it, I think.
I can remember you bringing up that Black Falcon on the last Modern Way in August, and we were like, what the hell's that? And I can remember we released the show, and a couple of days later I came across, was it in one of the Lego movies, wasn't it? And the Black Falcon's in it, and it's just like, right.
Yeah, they've done it. They've done
tie-in.
Yeah, they've done like there's a Lego show on Disney Plus. I haven't seen it, but it's like everything. It's like a parallel universe kind of thing where Darth Vader's a good guy and Jar Jar Binks is the bad guy, and it's a nice enough set. It's interesting to see how much some of those minifigures that come with it are going for, though. The White Vader when we were looking back in the summer, it was going for quite a bit of money, and Harrison was like, "Oh, should we keep it? Should we sell it?" So it's worth investment just for the minifigures, I think.
Sounds like his dad. Should we sell it? Should we move this on at this moment? You're always on the pulse with that kind of stuff, aren't you? Jez, we know that you're the vintage collection boy in here with the card fronts.
Yeah. Well, thinking about it, over the last couple of years, it's a bit of an eclectic mix of, I'll have a dabble with this, I'll have a dabble with that. Mainly vintage collection, but I am someone who likes to shop rather than shop online. I appreciate the stores, I appreciate the toy shops. So I think for me, maybe this celebration coming up will be the celebration when I bring back more modern than ever before. And I'm looking forward to having a look at anything that grabs my fancy. I just love it. I love the appeal of it, different scales, be it busts to, I'm looking forward to completing or enhancing my Malcolm Tween artwork collection, because I've got every single piece of his from Star Wars. What about you, though? Come on, Stu. What about you?
Okay. So I'm trying to sort myself out. Now, my Hot Toys, I do still dabble. Dan has sold a couple recently. I did pick up his Cad Bane. I think that's actually the Christmas farthest from before last, wasn't it, Dan, actually? At the tail end of 2023. But
yeah,
I've actually got him out of the box. He's right next to me now. He's actually stunning as a figure. He is awesome. And I do love my Hot Toys. I've still got so many to unpack. But I did pre-order Kit Fisto and Chewie with C-3PO on after the last show. And the retro collection, which we're going to talk about tonight. So what was announced at Farthest From kind of got me looking back at the line again. And after we recorded the catch-up show the other night, I have got in hand the Phantom Menace 6-pack. They look brilliant. I'm going to enjoy just dabbling in a line. The good thing about modern is, I think you could do a little run, have a shelf of it. When you're bored with it, you can just box that away and then have another dabble and just keep a couple of shelves fluid, which is what I'm going to do with my modern. I have so many ideas, but I change my mind quite often. Just having the room empty would be the start. All good fun. I'm sure the Modern Way will take us in different directions this year. I'm sure Jez is going to be trying to buy a complete Powder Force 2 line once we've done that set of shows.
You know it.
Yeah.
My galaxy is the home of the most epic story ever told. But then I found the cornerstone, and everything changed.
Listen up, Sig. There's only one way to say this. You messed up. You blew it. You goofed.
Jedi Pop, that's like 3 different ways.
When you removed the cornerstone, you created a new galaxy. Every person and every world will be different.
We've got to make everything go back to the way it was, because nothing makes sense.
It's a trap! It's a trap! It's a trap! It's a trap!
I know who can help us. The greatest hero of all time, Luke Skywalker.
Let me see if I have this right. In your galaxy, my dad is mostly evil until he turns good for like 5 minutes and then dies. My own nephew betrays me and kills most of my best friends. And I spend decades alone until I use the Force so hard that it kills me?
Well, when he puts it that way...
There is no escape.
What in the...
Excuse me! Darth Jar Jar? Ridiculous. Oh, time to go!
X-Wing TIE Fighters? Ewok Bounty Hunters? You spend your life telling stories about heroes? Maybe it's time to be one. Woohoo! Yeah!
This party's just getting started.
We're losing power! We're gonna crash! Scary, 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 scary!
The Force will guide us.
It will?
Here's hoping!
Oh, come on!
Right then, boys. So let's have a quick overview of 2024. Like we said, we recorded one Modern Way, and we were all pretty off grid. So it's been a little bit of a not really knowing what you're looking at, where we would normally have spoken about it, and you get to the end of the year and you can review it, and you're like, oh, I remember talking about that. So it has been a bit of a blank canvas for us all. So we're not going to go into anything too much. But let's start with the Black Series. So I did a little bit of research. 98 figure releases in 2024. Now, I can remember on previous review shows of the end of the years where there was often an argument, people going, oh, there's not enough stuff coming out. There's not many figures. That was the Vintage Collection and Black Series. But actually, this time around, I've seen grumblings, particularly on Black Series, going, oh, this is, there's too much coming out. And you're kind of like, when are you lot happy, you know? I mean, they give you more. And I suppose it's people, the completists, that are trying to keep up with everything. But the Black Series, where it's different from the Vintage Collection, you've got no world building, have you? There's no play sets. There's no large vehicles. I think you had 2 vehicles last year. Darth Maul with his little blood thin, and the Stap with the battle droid when for the Phantom Menace anniversary. So you did have a couple of those, but you don't get creatures like you're getting in the Vintage Collection and whatnot. So it's quite limited like that. It is just figures. And looking at the different areas where the figures were coming from, 18 figures still released last year from Mandalorian, so it's still very popular in that respect. Ahsoka 12. A New Hope, which amazed me, was the 3rd highest release, 11. 10 each for a Phantom Menace, obviously the anniversary last year, and Acolyte. And then there's numerous figures across Revenge of the Sith. We had the Clone Wars, Attack of the Clones had 5 figures last year. Then you've got the Jedi Survivors, Fallen Orders, the comics and whatnot. Skeleton Crew had 6. So it pretty well covered. They do cover what is currently in the media pretty well. I mean, Skeleton Crew and Acolyte, when it came to Black Series, they had quite a few figures ready to go, which the Vintage Collection weren't so on. Yeah, boys, when you look at these lines now, I've got a few Black Series, but I don't really dabble in it. The size of them and whatnot, you've got to be in it. For me, it's kind of like you either have like a little shelf with your favourites or something, or not at all. Any thoughts on the current Black Series?
I mean, in terms, do you know, Stu, how many of them were original figures and how many were like some sort of repack or repaint or some other gimmick that they've added to the figure?
I think some of them were like were definitely repacks.
I only ask because I know when we talk about Vintage Collection, I know the number for that, and it's a very small percentage in terms of the overall of what was released. There's actually brand new stuff, and you know, for me, if I was collecting something like Black Series, like I wanted the full set, I wouldn't be picking up every single one. It's a road to ruin. It's just too much stuff. I mean, we've said it for years. I mean, we never did one last year, but you know, in the years past when we've done the end of year shows, and there's like 80, 90 figures coming out, and then when you look at what's a new sculpt, you're looking at probably less than 15.
There was quite a lot last year in the Black Series, especially with across particularly Mandalorian and A New Hope, these Holocom collection figures, which are horrible. I think I counted, I want to say 8, but there might have been a couple less or a couple more than that. But I'm pretty sure there was about 8 released last year, and they're still churning these things out. And I do think those kind of things, I think to myself, oh, I don't know who's getting excited for them. They seem like a funny choice for me.
It's just we spoke about it, didn't we? Though I think when we recorded in August, it's another credit collection or carbonized figure. It's another subline just to make reuse of existing sculpts and make more money out of them. Really, people want to get those things, great, but I don't think it's for any of us. I think we came to that conclusion when we recorded in August.
I did notice when I was browsing a couple of Black Series groups, there was a lot of clone troopers and a lot of battle droids last year.
Right.
Different paints and different, Italians or whatever they were in. And there was a couple of complaints I noticed across a couple of the Black Series groups. Some of the figures, and this was, I think, pointed to maybe Acolyte in particular, that they were releasing those Jedis with no cape. And then they plan to re-release them again. So these figures are basically incomplete. They were saying that these Jedis, they're Jedis. They're going to have capes. And actually, in Acolyte, the majority of the time, they're wearing their capes. So why aren't they packed with this straight away? And they were also saying that some of the boots and that on these figures are too clean. They're not got any weather in.
There's no wear on them.
Yeah. So there was a couple of little things like that which they think they've taken their eye off a little bit with. But generally, I mean, the general consensus on those groups is that it's pretty good. I mean, you had 4 Halloween figures. So what more could you want? The Sith Inquisitor as Dracula. We brought it up last Modern Way, and I'm going to bring it up every Modern Way moving forward. It's a great figure. I think you boys all named it as your worst. But
did you buy it?
No, I can never find it.
But
no Christmas figures this year, which was a
amazing
bit of a shock after the last few years, because they have been quite a lot on there, haven't they? But
98 total seems heavy. I wouldn't have thought it got anywhere near that. So they're selling, obviously. I don't know I'd love to know what the numbers are per what they're actually clearing on those. I thought it took a knock after the packaging, because the packaging went all over the place, didn't it? They tried to sort of get rid of the plastic on the windows, and they came back with new. Yeah,
I don't think that's been a problem.
They just kept going.
I think people now, you don't see any complaints on those groups anymore. I think people are now, they are the boxes. I mean, some of the 2-packs this year that we've seen have got the window back in, haven't they?
Well, they've all got the windows back in. They went back on it. So they originally said they were going to take the windows away, which they did for a while. And then people were opening figures up, and they weren't what they looked like on the front of the box. Or someone in a shop had gone in and opened them up and switched them out or something. It was all sorts of shenanigans going on, and they went back on it.
That's all Andor era, wasn't it? They're all photography on the boxes, which
and they airbrushed out the joints in the figure, so it didn't actually look like it did when you got it out of the box. There was stuff like that going on, but I think they're past that now.
Craig would have been excited for this year, hasn't he? Because have you seen that they're doing a 2-pack Shadows of the Empire? Luke in his red get-up that he wore that was packed in one of the expanded universe Power of the Force 2 figures, coming with a Leia boosh. So nice that they're looking at those kind of lines, and I do think that's always quite good. They're for the fans, aren't they? Well, that Black Series then, boys, I asked you all to pick a favourite and a least favourite. So let's start with our favourites first. Jez, favourite Black Series of the year?
Tricky one. Going through them all, there are some brilliant ones. I agree. To have nearly 2 a week is pretty awesome. I'm going to go with Captain Brutus.
Same as me.
Any of you guys go for that one?
Yeah, he's my favourite as well.
He was my favourite.
Oh, right.
Show, and it was awesome.
Brilliant. Yeah. I think so. Skeleton Crew, they had the whole crew ready to go on release, and then to release Captain Brutus straight away, is brilliant. And I know the droid's coming this year as well, with the little worm thing in his eye, his hamster, whatever it is. But Captain Brutus for me as well, and for Dan. So
it's great. 6 different pistols. All the accessories. It's just a great sculpt. It's a great character. It's a great addition to a TV show. The weather in the detail. The weirdest thing is the shoes on this, because I know they need to do it because of the ball joints and the ankles, but it does look like he's wearing some kid's school shoes. But apart from that, I think it is my favourite.
Yeah. Well, look at that. All a big agreement. Pete, you're the only one that didn't jump in going, yeah, that's what I've picked.
No, I sort of looked through them. I thought the Luke and Leia were nice. They're sort of like the Luke and Leia original. They look pretty good. I don't know. I'm sure they've been done multiple times before. But as the Leia got the hood, the sort of the hood attachment, I thought that was quite a nice addition to that. But those two stood out. And the K2SO is quite nice as well. But yeah, Captain Brutus obviously passed me by. I'll have to have another look.
Yeah, Captain Brutus. Yeah, very nice. You should just go with Jodhnar Narwood. We'll say that anyway. Okay then, Pete, we'll stay with you then. What was your least favourite?
My least favourite, yeah, I think we've already touched on it. I think I just put the Holocom figures and just all of them. I think they were all just, I don't know, shocking. They just don't work. I heard someone with one of the podcasts I was listening to saying that the figures are too, because they do those for the 3 3/4 inch line and it worked, but obviously the light doesn't get through that high, so they don't actually work anyway. The sort of the light is pretty weak, so it just doesn't have the effect that you're trying to get either. So not only do they look bad, they actually don't. They're not fit for purpose. So
yeah, I'm also on the Holocom for that. The OSHA one in particular for me, because it's like this kind of transparent plastic. I just think it looks like Jez as a boy with like a mullet haircut going on.
Yeah,
like a mop top. And I just think they're absolute crap, to be honest with you. What about Jez and Dan?
Talking of which,
Jez, Mr. Holocom.
Yeah, it's a shame, that we didn't all have a favourite, because there are some really, really good ones which I do like. But okay, moving on to the worst. Cal Kestis. Anyone pick that? Yeah.
Wow.
Cal
Even
Kestis.
over like Captain Enoch, whatever his name is, which I know you don't like.
I'm not a huge fan of those. But the thing is, I think it's because let's separate this from TV show, or what you did or didn't like from Disney Plus. I'm not changing the rules on this, but you've asked us to say what are our favourite and sort of what do we like the least. And I think it's some of the human figures. We've said it in the past. The Han Solo looked like Ted Danson, not very well. All these different things. And when you look at the Cal Kestis, it just looks weird. I would have picked out the Luke Skywalker in Jedi, but then I realised that was 2023. The Cal Kestis face is just odd. And I think they struggle the most with figures which don't have a mask on them or something, or people who aren't aliens. I think some of the worst ones are the human faces, and Cal Kestis with his bits and pieces, he just looks a bit naff, and that's my point of view.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Dan?
I'm going to go. I'm not going to. I would say the Holocron, but I said that last time I think we were talking about them. So I'm just going to go with any of those Acolyte Jedis that you mentioned before that came without the capes. They're just boring.
Yeah.
Don't like them. I can't pick a single one. But I think going back to the Brutus, I think that's his name. I've not seen Skeleton Crew, but just seeing the design of that character, I mean, obviously he's the Wolfman type alien from the original version of New Hope. I'm like, oh, maybe I want to watch this show now. That completely passed me by, that character, but he looks awesome. But yeah, I'm not the Acolyte Jedi, they would probably be bottom of my list of figures to get.
Fair enough. I'm really glad you've all stayed away from the Halloween figures this time rather than attacking them. I will shout out as well the stat with the battle droid on. That was I can remember that film coming out, and I kept going into the same toy shop once a week after college looking for toys, and that was the only thing that was ever in there, and I kept buying one a week, and it was just like, so to see that they'd done that, I didn't buy it, which was stupid. I will probably pick that up. What a great throwback and nod to that toy line for the anniversary, knowing that was the preview bit. Brilliant.
Have you still got, how many did you end up buying then, if you were buying one a week?
Not loads and loads. I would have said probably somewhere between 6 and 8.
Jesus. And you want to buy another one?
I haven't got them anymore. I think
in a different scale.
One's still knocking around, but yeah. Just
they were everywhere. They were great, but I think everyone had those as standard.
Yeah. Everyone was probably waiting for the other figures. It was that or the Mace, wasn't it? The Mace was the teaser figure, wasn't it, in that box?
Yeah.
That was made away, wasn't he?
Yeah. So you kind of that's all you had. Bit of Pulp Fiction or a geezer on a shooty thing. Yeah, great fun. So we go to the vintage collection. So you said you've got the re-release numbers there, Dan. It's my understanding that there were 72 figures.
I know how many were brand new sculpts. I watched a couple of videos on YouTube of various guys doing their review of the year. I think there was 14 original figures.
Wow.
Give or take out
so
of that
72, there was 42.
Yeah. 20%.
Yeah, so not a lot. But generally, I think the vintage collection, they're nailing. So you got the HasLab, you had the Ghost this year, which we'll talk about in a minute. for Vintage Collection, but you've also got the Cantina, which was the HasLab project for next year. This is where you can set up some things. I mean, play set straight away. Armorer's Forge. I haven't bought these, but it looks really good. If you're into diorama sets, I think that looks quite nice. That Moff Gideon Light Cruiser Hallway they did. So you have got some ships. You've also got creatures, which is brilliant. You've got the Blurg, which we'll talk about in a minute, because it's definitely up there as probably my favourite thing they've released this year. Brilliant by the looks of it. Great to see the creatures back. And they have announced that the Howler with Sabine for 2025, so they're going to continue to dabble in creatures. You had the Jabba the Hutt set, which was outstanding. That Salacious Crumb on the mini card, 8D8 in there. So that was really, really good. I had a little nose across some Vintage Collection groups, and there's definitely a bit of burnout for the amount of pre-orders that get announced. Everything's on pre-order rather than here's the product's going to hit the shelf. So I think everyone's a little bit like, oh, here's another 10 figures. You don't pre-order it, there's a good chance you won't find it on the shelves. And these collectors who try to buy everything, do struggle with that. Same problem with the Black Series as well. Some of these figures getting released without certain capes and stuff, and then having to be told that it's going to be re-released. I mean, one of them, I can't think which character it was, but they had put it up for pre-order, and then about a week later they'd announced that it was going to be re-released in the early 2025 with a cape. And I know a lot of people cancelled their pre-orders. So from Hasbro's point of view, announcing that you're bringing it out again with the cape was a bit of a short-sighted thing until that figure was released. So, but they need to get these things right first time around, because it's not fair on collectors when you're releasing so much stuff. But Vintage Collection, what you thought this year? Any other stats?
No, I can tell you what my favourite is though.
Go on.
But it's not it was. I did say the Blurg last time. I would have picked that if you hadn't said it was your favourite. So to change it up, the second favourite that I had was Zeb. The 3 3/4 inch.
Zeb's
Zeb.
on my list. Yeah.
Is
that the one from the Ghost? Yeah.
I don't know. I just saw it loose out of the box, and someone was doing it.
They're from the Ghost. I think the Zeb, the Kanan, and the Sabine from the Ghost are all really good figures. I know they're all like from older sculpts, but they've all been altered slightly with certain different, maybe different joints or a few different paint apps. But I think
because this Zeb was the video I saw is highly articulated, and a lot of the joints were hidden. That's some of the trouble with the when you get into 3 3/4 inches, that the amount of joints that you've got. But it looked really good. The color separation on it, it wasn't too, although it's a cartoon character, it didn't you wouldn't look at it and think it was a cartoon character. You just think it was a regular alien out of Star Wars. I really did think it was a top-notch figure.
Yeah, totally agree. Jez?
Darth Vader.
Yeah, it was
Darth Vader.
It was very good. Yeah,
he's great. They keep on tinkering with it. So this one is based off the 2022 Darth Vader, which was voted to be one of the best in 2022. It's just brilliant. I think the way they've perfected this, the shoulders, the stance, it's just really smart. I think it's brilliant, and it pops really, really well on the original card as well, on the New Hope card. So really good accessories, but it's just the boss. Love it, Darth Vader.
Yeah, nice. Good choice, Pete.
Yeah, there's a few, but I think I will pick it up when I see one. I've seen them, but the Dark Trooper, I think that's a pretty strong one. I think that was last year. Because they did it in the box. I think they did a sort of a bit more of a deluxe one with the backing or the wall he sits in. But they did it on a card back last year, and the card back's really good, and the figure looks pretty good as well. So I think I might have to say that. There's Assassin Droid as well. I think they look pretty good. They're good in the TV series, and I think there's 2 of them out now. They've done different colorways or different regiments or whatever they are, but they look pretty good. But yeah, the Armorer's playset as well. I think there was a few things, like I said earlier, there's a few things they're tempting. They're putting some really good stuff out. So it is this line, I think, that is they're going ahead with making some nice stuff.
Yeah, I think there is some nice stuff coming. I also thought the Jango Fett Deluxe was done really, really well as well. I don't know if you boys have seen that one. It was a nice figure. Nice. What about your least favourites then? What about your least favourite, Pete?
I reckon it's could possibly on one of them. This might be this might be all of your favourites, but every time I look at it, I just think, what the fuck is going on with the hands? And it's that Chewbacca Life Day.
I've got a feeling that was 2023, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've got a feeling that was 2023, Pete.
Oh, okay. Well, I just want to say how bad that is anyway. And then for 24, where did the Finn Starkiller Killer base come out? Was that last year?
Don't know.
Well, maybe that was. Well, I'll just go through them. I thought that was 24. I haven't seen the actual Finnish edition of that, but in person. But online, it doesn't look great. It's just got sort of big trousers, and just the sculpt looks weird. And it doesn't. It's just standalone. I know they're sort of crossing the different movies and the different TV releases, but that just seems completely standalone. And I just think at least pair them up. I think that's probably the best way to release this stuff. For that one, just doesn't sit right. And it doesn't look any good either. Nicole back, not great. So I'll go with that one if I can't have two back.
That's fine. I reckon Jez is going to go with Cal Kestis. Jez?
Nearly. You know what? For Black Series, I've very nearly said Neil from the Skeleton Crew is one of my favourites because I think that's a great sculpt. But I'm going to stay with the Skeleton Crew for my worst vintage collection, and that's Jordan and Narwood. For the benefit of our listeners, lads, I've just shared a link with you to this figure, so you can look at it right now. Okay, have a little look at the face, and it looks like some ropey old bird who's just come in from a night out, who went out with a lot of 80s glitter on, and has just woken up like in someone else's bed. It looks right. I don't know what's going on with the face.
He looks really chunky as well, doesn't he?
It's just weird. So they tried to give him some sort of stubble, and I don't know how it's really weird. It's like someone's put some masking tape on their face and just like ripped it off, or someone's just put like loads of pinpricks all over the face. It just looks terrible, really terrible. Now I'm so disappointed of that because I need a Skeleton Crew vintage collection to add to my collection because I'm collecting all the different logos, and I don't want this one now. I've seen that, and that was the one I was likely to want to get. The accessories are all right, everything else seems okay, but that face sculpt, I don't know what's going on with the makeup, the eyes, the eye shadow. It's really poor. It's weak, and again, it's another one of these where sometimes they just nail it. They really, really do. But this is the most disappointing thing I've seen all year.
It's really strange that's a single release as well. There's no other vintage collection Skeleton Crew releases out there because they obviously got the details early enough because they got the whole Black Series line, didn't they?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's the same with the Acolyte. The Acolyte, they were all over. I think we just said the numbers. I think there was 10, 11 figures for Acolyte in Black Series. They just seem to be behind with this all the time. And how nice is it that when something gets released and you're watching on the telly, that you can then go to the shop and pick up a toy from that line, rather than waiting 8 months down the line when it's finished on the TV and it's no longer on it. It's a little bit disappointing, I think. Good choice, Jez. Good choice. Looking at him, I think it's a pretty poor figure. Dan?
Do you know what? When I'm looking at them, there aren't that many bad ones that I'd say that one's outright bad. But I am going to pick on Acolyte again just because I'm going to go with Jord Fandar. I'd have much rather had a stranger figure than him, so I'm going to go with him.
Just because you don't like something that comes out, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to dislike the toys.
But I do.
Okay, that's fine if that's I'm just telling you, you.
Oh, thanks.
It's not uncool to say, actually I quite
like.
No,
but there is. But I'm saying everything from what I can see, most of what in the main line of what they released. I mean, you want to go down the realms of repaints and repacks and all the rest of it. But in terms of the figures they generally release, they're good figures.
But the lack of the Stranger merch on any line is terrible. They didn't do anything, did they? I don't think there's any figure representation apart from the helmet.
Might not be now.
No, I don't think they're going to go there now, are they? But that was one of the best things about it. It wasn't the best thing about it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Vintage collection. I think generally across the board they're pretty good. I do think they make a good job of them, and most of the card backs are really good. So yeah, giving it the love. I'm going to give you my worst one in a sec because we're going to move on to the for a quick discussion about the Ghost and what you've seen online. But I'm going to say Chopper as my least that came with the Ghost, because by all accounts, the sizing is out against other figures. It's not relative, because of where they've put it, where you can put it in the ship is not correct. And people are also moaning that you can't put other droids in there. It has to be this particular Chopper. So we'll go with I'm going to go with the Chopper that comes with that, due to that reason. But boys, what have we seen online with regards to the Ghost? 21,500 people backed the Ghost, and it's been getting sent out. I think half the people received it before Christmas, and the other half are going out mid-January. So all people at the moment, they're getting them and they're unpacking them. From what I've seen, the boxes are enormous, but they're really well packaged. You've got your shipper, you've then got your Hasbro box, and then you've got your box off your ship. And I love it on the back reverse. It's got that old black and white imagery like we used to have on the ships back in the vintage era. So I think there's some really good details. There's corner protectors in the box, which I think they've learned the lesson. I think we've seen things being complained about in the past about the way some things arrive. So packaging wise, for me, they absolutely nailed. I think it looks amazing. From that point of view. But what do you boys think? What have you seen with regards to the Ghost?
It was pretty much similar to the Razor Crest, that box, because that had the line art on the back of the box as well. It's really nice to see that. But I haven't seen people jumping for joy. I've only watched a couple of reviews on YouTube of it. It looks very, compared to the Razor Crest, and obviously it's got it's a chrome finish, and it's got wear and dirt over the top of that. So it looks really nice. Like there was, in terms of the furniture and the various switches and gears and buttons that you've got, it all seemed to have a lot of wear in it, but it seems very toy, if that makes sense. It's very clean and plasticky, and I think that was probably my main takeaway from it, that it doesn't look like giving it the same TLC that the Razor Crest got.
Yeah, I've seen the same complaints on that again, a bit like the figure boots, and we were just talking about there's a lack of weathering. Reading a couple of reviews, they were saying that there's no doors between the compartments in the actual ship. So where you would have like a sliding door going into their bedroom areas, there's nothing there where they could have quite easily put a sliding door. They've got lots of doors and stuff inside the Razor Crest. They were saying that the cockpit only holds one figure, which was a bit, I think, being a bit of disappointment. I read somewhere that it was meant to come with 8 lights, and normally on the HasLab ships, they're easy to be able to actually change out 4 lights, but they've made it to no way possible without drilling through your ship this time. So lots of little bits and pieces I've read, but I've seen a lot of positives. People saying that once it's on display, the thing looks amazing. Yeah, so it's difficult to say without it in hand, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree with Dan. It does look like a toy. The lack of weather in this and the other. It looks, dare I say it, a little bit cheap. And I think also because I've seen, clunk, the side bits go on, the way in which you put it together. I don't know, it just seemed to have lost that premium appeal to me. I think there's a few things with this that I think the dawning realization that these aren't now money makers for people. I mean, with the Razor Crest, people were all straight away able to turn a buck, turn a bit of profit on it. The Katana, people were able to turn a significant profit now, just because of the amount which was sold back in the day. Now are more and more of these again sold. Some people are buying several of them as an investment, but very, very quickly I was seeing people sell them at cost, probably just because they wanted to get a shot of them, because maybe they could see that the price was on the horizon of bombing, of actually, are these going to be worth less than we purchased them for? And I want to get out quick before everyone else realizes that. So
I looked at some of that on eBay today, Jez.
Right.
So there's a few bits. So one is the 4 figures that it came with. They've been selling anywhere between £200 and £300 for the set of 4. And a lot of the ones that have sold on eBay, I mean, the ones that sold immediately before Christmas, probably before the majority of people had them, and there was that many flooding the market, they were selling for around £600 with the figures. So about, I think it was, what was it, £500 was it to get in on the Kickstarter for it?
Yeah, 510 I think was the price.
So people are making a small profit on it. I think eBay's fees are finished now, so they would have got all £600 of that. But since then, like you say, if you read the small print, a lot of them have had the figures taken out, Jez, that are selling for £400 still. So I think there's still money in them.
I've seen one. Sorry, mate. I've seen the ones where the figures have been taken out and they've sold for a lot less. We're talking 200 and something pounds.
Yeah.
Where people have taken the figures out. So, I've seen quite a few online where people are saying, look, just as is, still sealed, this, that, and the other, take it off my hands, kind of figures, speaking for £510. So,
but have people been buying those to flip them though? Because I imagine there's a lot of people who have bought them and kept them and they want them, and it's just people that have tried. They saw what happened with the Razor Crest, immediately after it was sold, it was hitting £1,000, and people have decided to get in on the act and got the fingers burnt by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
So the last ones that were sold on eBay UK, you've got one sold on the 13th of January with the unlocks removed, the figures removed, sold for £350, and the ones with unlocks included, the last one sold 12th of January, £580, so a little bit up. One sold on the 12th of January, complete, £600. They are up a little bit. I think the figures, I don't think they're going to sell like with your Yak, which was completely kind of, the figures are repaints of figures, or they've been tarted up. I think it's the actual card backs, isn't it? People want, because it's the animated card backs with that Rebels logo. Stands it apart. So actually, about £600 looking at it. There's the last 3 or 4 sold. 8th of January, one sold for £650, one for £520, one for £600.
You have
but
to bear in mind.
I think Dan's right. I think there was 21,500 of these sold. The HasLab, the Razor Crest, went up substantially for 2-3 months when it was released,
and there was a lot more of those sold as well. They sold nearly 30,000 of those.
I think people have done the same thing here, and then there's a few people that have done it, and it's flooded that kind of market that is available. So people that want them have got them, and I'm sure Rebels fans, the people that Rebels is their favourite media, and that's what they're really into. I'm sure they are delighted with this as an item. I think for people like us, where it's an item where we can take it or leave it, we wouldn't invest in something like this, having looked at it.
But would the Razor Crest have a more of a general appeal as well to people who have watched that series, like more sort of non-toy buy in public? You know what I mean? Like the Razor Crest.
I could see people buying it for their kids for Christmas. There would have been some of that going on, because it was a new show. It was in the public eye. It was really popular. I mean, it was really the Kickstarter started during season 2, which was arguably the height of the show's success.
Yeah, and I've got that. Correct. I know you guys bought it, but was it about £400 as well? So it's cheap.
It was less than that. It was about £350.
Was it? So that's tempting as well. As I know, like things have changed financially since then, but it's kind of tempting more so.
And it was very much more a display piece, but it came with a really nice base. Obviously, you had the wear and the work that had gone into it. You wouldn't have known it was a toy to look at it. It could almost be something that Hot Toys had put out. To be quite honest, in that scale, I had it on top of my Deltops for probably the best part of 2.5 years. It takes up a lot of space and it gets in the way, so you got to have plenty of room to display it. But it was fantastic.
Don't forget, obviously, this is quite expensive to post as well on the secondary market, because the size of it. So people were getting charged about £80 to move it on. So you never know. You might see some of these at Echo or what have you. I'm pleased. For Rebels fans, there was a lot of love for Rebels, a lot of love for that animated show. So it's great to see these people getting some stuff. But I think the bubble has burst a tiny amount, or suddenly a lot of people thought, "Oh, I'm going to be a great investor. I'm going to buy 3 to profit off those, and it's going to pay for 1 because I'm going to flip 2." And I think then all of a sudden people realised that there were probably more flippers than people who actually wanted one.
Yeah, I'd love to know the individual buyers within that sort of 22,000 units, how many actual individual purchases there were. Okay.
Not something that I'll ever be investing in. I mean, I did put in the show notes, boys, is anyone tempted to buy on the secondary market, but I don't think I need to ask that after that. We'll leave that there. Yeah, so moving on then, boys. Lego. Now, I love Lego. I love building it. And not just Star Wars. I mean, some of their licenses are brilliant. They're doing some amazing Lord of the Rings sets at the moment. Some of the Harry Potter builds are really good. My children love doing the Legos. So, we do dabble in a few different lines just to build it. But obviously they've got the Star Trek license, as they just announced, and their first release for that isn't until the end of this year. But different licenses being picked up all the time. But Star Wars continues to be a popular one with them. 32 sets released in 2024. That doesn't include all like the little blind bag things and whatnot, but some good sets over the course of this year. New UCS set. We had the TIE Interceptor back in the spring wave, and then obviously we've had the Jabbers sail barge later on in this year. They're always good fun. The UCS builds. I'm actually going to start my Falcon next week, which bought during lockdown, if you remember, gents. Yeah.
You're really going to start it? Oh, awesome.
My problem has always been
where to put it,
and where to build it. Now, we did build a big part of the Harry Potter castle over Christmas, which has been sitting in the lounge. So I'm going to move that, so it's got a space, and I've got a space next to my desk ready to put it once it's built. So now I've got those two areas sorted. We're in. But I love some of this stuff. Let's have a quick go round here of what your favourite set is of the year, looking at these sets. Jez?
Yeah, I was quite fond of I think they call them the MIDI line, the Millennium Falcon, the 75375 Falcon. I think that's great. It's such a great size, the MIDI scale. Price-wise, not too bad. I think that's picked up for about 60 quid. I really enjoyed the build. And with a little plinth, which it comes with, it's one of those things where you can have it on your work desk. You can have it anywhere. And it's just that classic ship. I favour, for sure, the ships over anything else. Lego does.
Yeah, I think they do them well. You built that Falcon, didn't you? I can remember.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I quite fancied doing the Tantive they did, or the Tantive E, as it's been said now. To be said.
Yeah,
that's in the same range as that.
Same range. Yeah, looks great.
Really nice looking little ship. Dan?
I'm going to go with that Tantive 4 corridor.
Nice.
That's really good. Nice little set. Really good. I'll tell you the other thing that we built last year that I've never spoke about on the podcast was I got some fake Lego. Not this Christmas, just gone the one before. We got the Darth Vader's Executor. And it's something like 10,000, 12,000 bricks. It's about 4 foot long, this thing. And it is absolutely superb build it was. I mean, it's a little bit more janky than Lego, and there were a couple of pieces that didn't quite go right. We had to substitute them with some out of Harrison's Lego box, but other than that, it's brilliant. It's still up on his shelf now on display. It's you can't believe it's Lego if you look at it from a distance. It's absolutely superb.
Did they break down like the instructions as well as Lego?
Yes.
Like Lego, yeah.
It's all bagged up, yeah. And it was it cost about 150 quid. And we easily got that much fun out of building it. It took us nearly 2 months to build. We had it all laid out on the dining room table for about 6 weeks. I don't think we finished it till half term in February last year. But yeah, it was great. You know, if you want a mega build, there's definitely some good options out there beyond just Lego as well. And I know they're bootlegs and they're not quite legit, but we didn't have any problems with it at all. That was a Teemu special, that one.
Love it. And Pete?
I had that board in the Tantive as well. I thought that was a pretty cool set. They did a Luke and the Dark Troopers set, which was similar a few years back. I thought that was pretty good as well. So it's a similar line to that. But that was great. But that R2 was nice as well. They did that sort of the larger R2 build, which reminded me of sort of like the Technic Lego we had as kids. So that was quite cool. And they did a 3PO, which I'm not sure if that was last year or whether it was tail end.
No, that was in the summer, yeah, and that's
But they're different packaging, aren't they? So I'm not sure if they're.
Oh yeah, is it? I mean, I know one of them is going up in price. So I'm guessing it's the older one then, if it's different packaging.
Yeah, because one's that sort of the black background, which is quite the sort of classier, the higher end UCS sort of style packaging, which was the 3PO, and the R2 was more sort of different. So you'd thought they would have maybe lined them up together. Would have been a nice set. There is some good stuff. They're so on it, aren't they? It's incredible the amount of stuff they do. And like you were saying, the different lines. There's that Batman, the Batmobile, and the Jaws set were amazing last year.
Yeah, the Jaws set was lovely. Yeah, really nice. For me, I mean, I nearly pulled the trigger today. I saw the UCS TIE Interceptor for 140, which is substantially lower than its retail price, and was so close to buying it, so close. And I thought, no, that's going to be 2 huge UCS boxes just sitting in my way. I did come really tempted, but the Moss Esper Pod Race diorama, I like those dioramas. I built a couple of them already. I built the Speeder Chase through Endor, which is brilliant, and that Pod Race one's right up my street. So, I mean, that might be in hand by the next show, I reckon.
You got me looking at that TIE Interceptor now. Where did you see that?
It's on one of the Lego groups on Facebook, and I just ummed and ahed and just like, oh, do I do it? Do I do it? And it's just like, it's a really nice build. Yeah, that. Yeah. Do we want to do a bad? Do Lego really do bad stuff? Do we need to be negative about it? I don't
like the mechs. I don't like the mechs. That's not my bag at all.
The mechs.
Yeah, I do want to be just
the people with the
or anything, but the people crossovers.
Yeah, in like a the thing they use in Avatar in the first one, the kind of robotic things they get.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, Luke Skywalker, X-wing mech. Oh, I'd be interested to see what that is. And it's just struggling to make up its mind. What is it? A transformer? Is it? I don't know. It's just.
I think it's trying to give you a cheap price point, bit of Lego where you can get a minifigure. Something to play with. Maybe for a younger audience than us. I would say.
As I said, just coming across as a stick in the mud. So it doesn't actually turn into an X-wing or anything like that. It's just, as you say, it's like a loader, isn't it?
I think they started with like the Hulk Buster. They did a Hulk Buster one. They started off with like the Marvel ones with a Hulk Buster. They did a Spider-Man one, and now they've crossed it into Star Wars. So I'm going to go with that C-3PO they did. Like they did the really tall like Chewbacca.
Yeah,
they've
done a C-3PO now. I saw that in the store back in the summer. I don't think that was much cop. That would be my pick.
What I will say is, if there's any of these sets that you're umming and ahhing about, 21 sets being retired in 2024. The Vader helmet. If you're into the helmets, there was no helmets this year for the first time. So whether that is the end of the helmet line, because they were good fun to build. They were nice builds for a 50, 60 quid pickup. But the Vader helmet is one of the ones that is being retired. The UCS now, there's currently 4 UCS sets, I believe, available. So the 2 that came out this year, the TIE Interceptor and the Jabba's Sailbarge. I think the Land Speeder and the Razor Crest are still both available as well. But the Razor Crest is getting retired this year. Just looking through the list, the Pod Race Diorama is being retired this year. The Desert Skiff and Sarlacc Pit, I don't know if you've seen that little mini set, that's being retired. That Tantive is being retired this year. The Ghost and the Phantom 2-pack is being retired this year. So if there's any of these sets that are on your want list, just check, because retired Lego, once they're retired, the price of Lego sets generally does shoot up. So keep an eye on that if there's anything you're after.
You seen how much that TIE Fighter pilot helmet goes for now?
Yeah, ridiculous, isn't it? And I think it's one of the only ones I haven't got.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's so bloody expensive. No one bought it. Everyone got the Stormtrooper, and I think it was Boba Fett on that first wave, and no one got the TIE Fighter pilot.
I've only got 4, actually. I've got Fett, Vader, Stormtrooper, and Mando. They're good fun builds, aren't they? You've built a couple, haven't you, Dan?
I've got about 7 of them, I think. This is like the first Christmas I haven't built one in like 4 years.
Fancy building some more Lego.
New from Lego Star Wars. The Emperor senses Anakin is in trouble. You can build his shuttle, load the clone pilot, and blast off to find his Sith apprentice. You found him. Now you can help the Emperor transform Anakin Skywalker into Darth Vader. Palpatine shuttle with Sith transformation. New from Lego Star Wars.
We want to have a little discussion tonight about the retro collection. I originally bought the first line minus Tarkin, didn't buy the game. Then I bought the Empire Strikes Back line minus the Luke in Snowspeeder outfit because I didn't buy the game. And then I looked at them and thought, these are just like the vintage figures, but not quite as nice. Sell them. And I sold them all off. And I think I've dabbled in them. I've definitely got the Cole Kenobi line boxed up back in my room somewhere. Possibly the Boba Fett line. I'm sure I bought them at some point. But but they had not grabbed me until farthest from when Steve Evans did his talk on the Sunday. I wasn't there, but I saw it when I was home. And he pipelined the next 6 retro collection figures. And Dr. Everson, Walrus Man, Sand Trooper, Rebel Trooper, Yavin Luke, and Han Solo Stormtrooper. These were the figures we wanted as kids. I think we've done discussions before on figures they should have made, and these all come up. Obviously, Walrus Man we did have, but they were like, and something resonated with me. It was like, actually, this is good. And then I went back and looked at the line, and actually, there's some brilliant figures in there. So I'm going to clear off a shelf and put together this line. So that is where I am with the retro collection. Now, up to this point, what has been your relationship with the retro collection, if anything? And do you own any? Dan, I think you're probably the most likely to have one. Or dabble.
I've got Tarkin left. I've still got the Tarkin, so I did buy the board game. I did buy. It was nice, wasn't it, to go? I remember when they came out. I think we'd started recording. Maybe they'd released the first, or maybe it was the summer after they made that initial release. And I think I was in a supermarket and I saw Han Solo hanging. Oh, blimey, they're vintage, vintage style figure on a vintage card back. It was like, I think it's like £8 or something. And I picked up a Han Solo. I think I've still got that somewhere as well. But in terms of collecting them all, it wasn't really for me, just because I've already got those figures and I don't need them. I think they were more. I think we've discussed it before on the show. They're more for people who, like I say, walk into supermarkets and remember the figures when they were kids and think, I'll pick a few of them up, or people get them for gifts for Christmas. But certainly the newer figures that they did, the reimagining of modern characters as vintage figures was more appealing. And the first couple of Mandalorian waves I thought were fantastic. And then they started to go off piece a bit with it. So I wasn't a big fan of the Obi-Wan figures. I didn't think they were great. They started introducing a lot more soft goods and it looked more like a modern figure in certain respects. And I've been off the bandwagon since then, to be fair. I was tempted by the Phantom Menace ones, but I didn't go for those. But I do like the thought of some of these unreleased vintage era figures that they're producing now. They've got some nice ones coming up in that wave that Steve presented.
Yeah, I get you, and I get the soft goods, Dan. But we did have soft goods back in the vintage era.
But on the figures, they probably weren't as good as some of the. I do like a vinyl cape. I think probably.
Well, I've got
probably the answer.
I've got a shipping box here of them. There's definitely 2 more than what there should be in this. There's 2 doubled up. They're great. I think so. The Kenobi figures, I think, are I'm still seeing in supermarkets for the Entertainer for like £4 a figure. I think that's such a good price for anything like that. Anything they knock out. Yeah, I think they're just great. This one here, the Reva, she's got plastic cape on. This looks really, really vintage, Dan.
And that's generally the one that's in the Entertainer for £4.
Vader, so he's got soft goods. I've got 2 Vaders in here for some reason and 2 Kenobis. But yeah, Jez, have you must have one of these in your collection?
Yeah, I dabbled. Started off, I think it was like, oh yeah, I'll grab one of those. I was a bit late to the party, so I grabbed Mandalorian one. And then when I was at Echo, I saw someone selling the original, the New Hope line, really cheap, like £5, something like that. And for those ones, so I've now got Luke Skywalker, and that does it for me. So that's one, because what I wanted was an example of one in my huge collection of vintage collection figures. However, like you, that farthest from reveal with those other figures, yeah, it was really, really appealing. And also I like, I don't think you mentioned it yet, what they've done with the labels again, which was a big thing, where they're going to be changing the labels on these, so you can peel them if you wanted to.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm quite a big fan of these actually, and there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of love. They're not just smashed out, they're quite clearly considered, because this line which they've just dropped, all of them fan favorites. So yeah, good job.
Yeah, good stuff. Pete?
Yeah, I have got a few. I've got more than I thought I had, actually. I've got when I was doing that sort of Mandalorian run, I've got the Mandalorian figure and the armor. I've got those 2, but I also bought I think it was the first bit of modern I bought in the sort of this era, was the Vader prototype one, the sort of the multicolored one. That's part of it, which I still got. I've got it in front of me. I actually quite like it. It's I think that's held its value. Oh, it's certainly gone up in value, hasn't it, since the original release of that? And I think that's quite sought after. But I bought some more of the prototype ones and have since sold all of them, because they got out of control, and then they started looking really bad. But the Vader one I still like, and I've kept hold of that. But yeah, that new line looks great, and I regret not getting that Jedi. There was a box 6-pack of the Jedi figures for like everyone else, the Mon Mothma, and not so much the yak face, but that would have been nice. But the Mon Mothma one was a great looking figure. But that whole set, and certainly those 2 figures, go for silly money now. But yeah, I may go back and pick up a few. That episode 1 pack you had, that looks really good.
Well, the episode 1 pack. So we did the catch-up show the other night, and I said I wanted to buy them, and it has arrived. Now I love this. I love the box as well, but I am going to be an opener of this stuff. I'm going to open one while we're here tonight.
Are they sealed, those boxes, or are they just flipped?
No, this is sealed. It's got tape. That's why I can't get it open, Dan. Pete. When I went back and started looking at the line again, I was like, okay, it makes sense. So I've been doing a little bit of research on it, and actually, if you're patient, most of the figures you're going to be able to pick up for between £5 and £10. So they are just on their cards inside the box still. Mon Mothma, she is currently the most expensive. Since Christmas, there's only been 8 sold in the UK on eBay. £95, 102, 120, 110. One went through the thing for 63, 90, 98, 150. So that's quite a commitment to a retro collection figure.
Was that series an exclusive with anyone? It just seems weird that they've all been quite easily to get, and for a while. I know some of them you can't get now, but they would seem to be around for a while. But that set seemed to just never.
Yeah, and if you're trying to buy the pack on eBay, you're looking at about £250. So Yak Face is expensive, but I've seen the Emperor's Royal Guard is going for about 30, Akbar 20 to 25 quid. So they're for sale. Whether people have bought the boxes and have just taken like Mon Mothma or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's definitely more like Wickets and Emperor's Royal Guards available than the likes of Mon Mothma, Yak Face, and the Good Morning Guard. Yeah, but when you look through the lines, I think they're getting it right. I think, as when Dan just said it, we spoke about it in the early times when these came out, and they were like, oh, when you're in the supermarket. I agree with those figures that you had originally, but now they're dabbling in them. You've got some great figures in there. So, Cad Bane and your different Fets, the Armourer. There's such a range now covering all the media that actually they're quite good fun. It's, just...
Andor.
No, they haven't done Andor. They haven't done... they've done the Acolyte, haven't they? Yeah, of course they did, yeah. A Skeleton Crew will be brilliant in this kind of style figure, I think, as a crew. I'm just going to pull one out of here right now and have a little look at it. That's the least exciting one to pull out, that was. Okay, so Amidala. I mean, I love the Phantom Menace figures are actually some of the best sculpts in Star Wars toys. But how great fun is that as a vintage figure? I mean, the cards, we've discussed the card backs, and everyone knows what their dislike is. I think they do it because if you want the neat cards, you buy the vintage collection, don't you? And like Jez just said, the sticker was always a moan. Apparently, in the next wave, they are going to be easy to remove. So, yeah. I mean, look at that. Hello, Dan, buy me too. I love them. Love them.
For the benefit of our listeners, Stuart there, as it is Des, opening his box, opening his Amidala, smelling her hair, and sharing it with us on the screen. It makes for a great visual podcast. Seamus's audio, but yes, very nice. Look at his little cheruby face. He's so happy. I've not seen Stu looking this happy for a while.
Yeah, I think I'm going to enjoy putting this together. And like I said to you, if I get bored with it, I just have
a word with yourself.
I box them up and I do something else for a little while. I think they're going to be a lot of fun this year to put together. Watch this space, Modern Wave. We will progress on it. I've definitely got the whole Kenobi range here, and I've definitely got all the Phantom Menace. So it's a start.
Have they done all the bounty hunters now? Because I know I think they did a Dengar
all in two
twin pack.
Yeah. So I mean, you still get hold of them for about 25 quid a pack.
Yeah.
I think I don't know who came with Dengar. I think that's the most expensive of the packs.
Maybe that was Bosk. No,
I want to say it was IG.
Okay. But you can get, I saw that on Amazon over Christmas for like 15 quid on sale.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't checked Amazon, actually. That's, that would be the 2 packs, wouldn't it? I'm on the multi-pack site here.
I'm guessing it was Zuckuss and Forlorn and then Boba Fett.
Zuckuss and Forlorn. I can't say. I don't know whether I've... Oh, yeah. So Bosk came with Fett. Yeah, Zuckuss and Forlorn, Dengar and IG. But
have they done any repacks on these? Because they're sort of crying out for repacks and different film cards, aren't they? And
yeah, not as yet, I'm aware.
I'm surprised that, I'm sure they'll do that at some stage. It's an easy win for them, isn't it? Just to kind of change their logos up.
I might even clear my shelf this weekend. I'm going to have them on and start getting them out. So
don't get you. Hold on, you're meant to be building a Lego kit, not sorting shelves out.
I could do both.
You can't do everything at once. Chill out.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to definitely put a save in my eBay and start looking at it. I mean, these will be good fun to, no rush, try to complete it over the course of the year, but actually quite good fun at events to pot around and see what you can pick up.
Yeah, someone who did a the classic kind of yellow back poster and collect all the figures. Someone did that for this wave, and it's amazing how many they've got to. I'm sure you can find out.
Yeah, I think I saw that. Really, good image, isn't it?
Yeah, cool.
Because they've done the first 21 at least, haven't they? Up to because Fet's out, so they did a second wave in one of those boxes like what you've got there for the episode 1 figures, Stu. They put all of those figures into a box set with the what did it have with it? Well, it would have been Luke Skywalker, Walrus Man, the Cantina aliens and the droids. So I think they've redone all of those. We haven't
had the Cantina aliens yet.
No, they haven't.
Sure.
Yeah, 100%. So
maybe it was the second wave of the first. Well, okay, yes, they did 6 in the first. Gotcha. Yeah.
Well, so Walrus Man's on
that
the
wave
pipe
that's
on
coming
the
out.
wasn't it?
Yes, correct. Sorry. So they've done the first 12 though. They've
First 12
that.
with Fett. I don't think any of the other ones in between that are out yet.
Didn't they do Luke X-wing, or did they do a version?
They did their Hoth Snowspeeder
Luke
pilot.
Snowspeeder. Yeah, it was for Empire, which you can still. So that game and the Escape the Death Star game, they're still available on some of the other sites in the sale, which is the best way of buying them. I can remember looking at Tarkin, but I didn't want another Escape the Death Star board game because I've got about 4 of it anyway, and you can't shift them. You cannot get rid of them. So I thought, I'm just going to be stuck with a modern version of it, but perhaps I'll get it and play it. Actually, have a game,
or just sling it in the bin.
Yeah, the Luke Snowspeeder to me is one of the worst ones they've done.
I know you had problems with that. I haven't got a huge issue with it. It's not horrendous.
You've got the Stormtrooper that came with Monopoly, which.
Correct. I had that. I sold that. I sold that at Echo. Actually, I had that. So we had the board game. That we've still got that Monopoly board game. We play it all the time. It's really good. It's not like your standard Monopoly. But yeah, it came with a figure. It was in when I had the kind of the full run of all of the retro figures. I had that one, but I kept it on the card, and I think I sold it at Echo for like 45 quid. Yeah, it's just a regular old Stormtrooper dirtied up.
Yeah. Yeah. So line wise, we've had New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Phantom Menace. Then there was like a 6-pack that was 3 Attack of the Clones figures and 3 Revenge of the Sith figures in there. And I read somewhere that the Grievous in there is the best standing Grievous that's ever been released, which was interesting. Then you've had Acolyte, Boba Fett, Mandalorian.
Quite a few for Mandalorian. They did 2 waves of that.
Ahsoka range, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you've got So
it's only really Andor that they've done it for.
Andor and Skeleton Crew, and I bet Skeleton Crew's going to come, isn't it? They're made for vintage, this kind of line. I hope they do Andor figures in this line.
I think with season 2, you'll probably see them.
Yeah, it's
But no vehicles yet, have they? It's just figures at the moment. They've done nothing else.
No, I'm not fussed. I mean, the prototype editions. I know that the Fett and Vader are going for decent enough money. The other 4. I'm not sure about the Stormtrooper actually, but I know that Chewie and Din Djarin you could pick up for like 5-6 quid.
The reason that Vader goes for so much, Pete, is because there's so many different colour combinations. I think there was like 60 different versions of it, whereas with the later ones they reduced it down to like 9. So you could get one with a purple head, one with a yellow head, one with a blue head. Different combinations of body parts, but yeah, the Vader seemed unlimited. So people were going when they were released. I think it must have been back in 2016 we first saw them when we was at Celebration back then. But when they got released at San Diego Comic-Con, people were just picking up handfuls of them, just trying to get all the different color combinations.
Yeah, it's quite nice. I think it's probably worth keeping on to because it's worth a bit. But
I like the card back on it. I think the card eyes from the Marvel comics. I think it looks really good.
They're really thick as well. The card stock on. I don't know if they still keep up with that thickness, but they're it's different to the other stuff.
I did have the Fett for a while, but I moved it on. But then it started getting silly with Luke X-Wing and the and Chewbacca.
Yeah, Chewbacca's awful. The card art on that they lost because this is sort of foiled. And normally I don't like the sort of foil effect, but it actually works on this pretty well.
The bit I remember most about it when they came out, just the retro collection in general, when they released the first 6 figures, just the uproar in the vintage collecting community. I remember being on, I think it was on Echo Base, and people just losing their minds. Oh, there's going to be loads of fake weapons flying about, and people are going to sell them as the real thing. But we haven't really, that I'm aware of, anyways, had that issue.
No, aren't they slightly different? I've got a feeling they're made slightly.
I think they're a little bit bigger because they didn't have the original molds, did they? So they would be. No. I think they're slightly different. And obviously the country of origin markings and things like that are different. And I think the weapons, you can just tell they're completely different plastic. I mean, but the ones that I opened, they were all Mandalorian ones, but the weapons felt very rubbery, very child friendly, as opposed to the brittle plastic we used to play with as kids.
Yeah, I think to be fair, looking on eBay, I reckon if you look for when they're like open auctions, I reckon you could get a few of these at real bargain prices, slip through the net.
Especially if you want them opened as well. I mean, I think I had the dozen or so that were from the Mandalorian. I sold them a couple of Christmases ago just because I just didn't have the space to display them anymore. I think I sold all 12 figures for like 40 quid. So if someone else is silly like me and decides to auction them off, you could pick up a bargain that way. I'm sure they come up.
We've just said Skeleton Crew and Andor would be great, but where else could they go? I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the past. Like a Holiday Special 6 would be brilliant, wouldn't it?
I think the trouble with some of it is a lot of this stuff's already been done, hasn't it? So there's a lot of guys out there who've been customising for years, and I know some of them are a little bit more dubious than others, but a lot of this stuff's been done. I mean, I've got a KC-3PO on my shelf I'm looking at now, and it's superb. It looks, and I don't think Hasbro could probably do it much better. So it is one of those things where a lot of it has been done. And I do wonder if a lot of serious collectors are going to buy into that when they start going down this route of actually let's go back and do a K3PO and paint C3PO white, and let's go and do a Luke Besbin with his shirt off on Dagobah or things like that. It's be interesting to see how well this first wave does and how popular it is to justify them doing more. I mean, I'd love to see it. They'll never do a Slave Leia, but it'd be great to see him do some.
Well, you say that. So have you seen that they've done a Slave Leia in that Lego set? It's the first one.
Oh boy, in the Katana.
USC, no, the USC Lego stuff. Yeah, the Jabba Sail barge.
Yeah.
It's the first Slave Leia figure since they had all that uproar and Disney kind of banned the word slave for Slave One and all that kind of stuff. But they've actually, yes, the first incarnation of that figure in a long while.
Maybe.
There's always a hope that it will soften and they will release that figure because, it is what it is.
But I would like to see some of those more obscure Cantina aliens that were in A New Hope that didn't make it. We got what 3, 4, including Snaggletooth. So give us a Wolfman, give us Praying Mantis, give us the Tonica sisters, give us all of those things that we haven't got to put in the rest of our vintage figures and have them, set up with a Cantina playset. Definitely
I was
loads of potential.
I was only thinking today, perhaps they'll do an Empire one with the figures we didn't get. But I can't actually think of that many figures in Empire that we didn't get. They the scope wasn't there, like the Cantina and stuff from the first film. But actually, there's not a great deal that, and perhaps Luke in a nappy. But there isn't that many options, is there, of figures?
It's quite a tight movie. It's a small story compared to a lot of other Star Wars films.
I know you've got a couple of
variations.
Yeah, some Imperial officers who get slotted by.
But would you buy 6? But 6 what? Yeah. So
if Mr. Bronson was in there,
Admiral Ozzel, give me Admiral
Ozzel, yeah. Maybe you'd have Veers, but that wouldn't be the most exciting of sets, would it? For just having loads of those. So
I heard they come away from the sets as well. That's kind of, you want to see more individual packed or just single figures available. The 6-packs are gonna.
I think they're going to do more of those 6-packs. I think that's now they've seen that Jedi one sell out probably faster because of Mon Mothma. I think you're going to get that with every set now to try and push more out. Now people have seen Mon Mothma's going for. I didn't even know it was going. I know it was selling and it was hard to get. I didn't realise it was going for £100 a pop. But whatever they bring out next in that format with anything to do with original trilogy, I think that will sell out super quick. Or they'll overproduce it and people will think it's going to sell out and people will be left holding the baby. But yeah, they'll definitely keep doing that, no doubt. In my mind, anyways.
Well, they could do Wilro Hood, couldn't they? If you're thinking about Empire Strikes Back, and sort of scraping the bottom of what can we milk next? That dude running around Cloud City with his. Because they repurposed that, didn't they, in Book of Boba Fett?
Yeah. You got the chick firing the ion cannon as well. That's another one they could do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, you go and move on to Jedi again. You've got Jabba's palace, which just helps you come up with loads of stuff again, doesn't it? So you're kind of safe again there. And obviously, for how you have got Rogue One, what a great set that would be.
Yeah.
Force Awakens, Last Jedi. You have got all those films, Solo, that they could touch on. So
yeah, they haven't done any of that. Yeah, it's loads.
I think you'll see them though. So Force Awakens 10th anniversary this year. What's the bets they'll do something for that? You got Rogue One's 10th anniversary the year after. What's the bets they'll do something for that? I think you'll see them. There's a pattern to this stuff. We've learned that over the years, isn't there? They keep following the what works once, they'll just keep repeating until it doesn't work anymore. And whilst it's working, they'll keep churning them out.
But is there more likelihood that that'll be the vintage collection rather than the retro collection? Because are we blurring lines here?
I think they'll do a bit of both. I think they'll do a bit of both, mate.
Yeah, I think the vintage collections for that better quality figure. You've got the more joints, the better sculpts, the card back. I reckon that's why these card backs are made to look cheap and bashed up.
To differentiate them.
They feel cheaper. I mean, I've got so I've just opened that Amidala. I mean, the card back's quite nice, but it doesn't feel as good as quality as what a vintage collection card does. So
and the stickers were. I know we talked about peelable stickers, but I don't want to have to peel stickers off my card backs. You know, it's part of the appeal of vintage is that the photography on the card front, and when it's covered up 50% by this great big whacking orange sticker written in 15 different languages, it's just not very appealing to me. And that's why I think the Book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian ones, I was quite happy to rip them off the cards because I just detest those card backs so much, and it really lets the series down. If they were to go back with a standard card back with a little retro collection logo in the corner somewhere, so it was a vintage collection, that would be ideal for me. But they really is off-putting for me to get buried in that collection, certainly carded.
Yeah,
first world problems, but yeah, that's probably why I haven't bought more of them.
Okay then, boys. Well, we haven't really introduced too much stuff that with new releases or anything tonight, but out of everything we have looked at, some of those older figures from 2024, some of the Lego sets, the retro collection. If there's something you were going to purchase from tonight's show that you haven't already pre-ordered, what would you go with, Pete?
Probably the retro set. I think that if it's a 6-pack or individual, I'll probably jump on that. I think.
If when I watch the Skeleton Crew, if he's as good on screen as he is in action figure, I'll get Brutus.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Jez?
Yeah. If it's not going to be Lego, it's going to be something as simple as that vintage collection Darth Vader, and I'm going to open it.
Oh, nice.
Because I think it looks brilliant. I'm really impressed with that when I've looked at the detailed photos.
You should get loads of stormtroopers flanking him.
Couldn't possibly.
Yeah, maybe. The Rogue One stormtrooper, such a good sculpt.
Yeah. What would you get?
Yeah, just thinking about that. Because the retro collection I'm going to get anyway.
Well, you're just thinking you should have got that TIE Interceptor. That's what you're thinking.
Yeah. I might go back and treat myself to a couple of blurgs in the vintage collection to unbox. No, why am I saying that? To do what with? To move them around? No. Yeah, probably a bit of Lego. That pod race. I've been thinking about that for months. So I might just go and get that and just actually commit to it. Yeah, we'll go with that. So the modern way, next show, we're going to actually stay with a bit of vintage collection. So you boys can get your thinking caps on now, because the next show we'll do any announcements that have come out in the meantime, any purchases, etc. But we're going to look at the HasLab Cantina, and we're going to see how we would what we would recommend to kind of fill it. It's not the word I wanted to use, but I can't think of the word I want to use. But kind of the best sculpts of each figure.
To populate it.
Populate is the word I was trying to think of, Dan. Yeah, to just how we would go about doing it, what sculpts we'd get, because I mean, if you're talking about a Greedo figure, there's so many. So how you're going about doing it, I'm sure that's why we've just had some of these retro collection things like Dr. Eveson and whatnot being announced, because they'll be ideal in there if you are going to fill it with vintage figures. Oh, I think there's some amazing sculpts. There's some amazing sculpts throughout the years. Which were you going to put behind that bar? I know you've got one coming with it. We're going to delve into that, so you can start doing your research now. So that will be in probably about 3-4 weeks' time. So you all happy with that? Good.
That's wonderful.
Right. If you're on social media, please head over to Facebook, look for Generation Skywalker and join that page. And also, we are Generation Skywalker, our community group, where we put a bit more random stuff and a bit more discussion on there. Head to TikTok, search for Generation Skywalker, and on Instagram. Things have been a bit slow, but they will start to get going a bit again. Now we're starting to find our feet again. And YouTube, Dan is unboxed. He's going to do a show round of his Teemu Cruiser or whatever he's got. Very special video coming.
I can see that.
All the little bits and pieces on there, which will probably be on TikTok as well. Yeah, I know you will. Just announced it, Dan. That's why you
announce a lot. We announce a lot of things.
We do. But it is for this show, boys. Goodbye from Pete.
Night, guys. See ya.
Goodbye from Danny the Burgess.
He's Danny, another member of the podcast.
Oh, you don't have to called Danny, do you? Forgot about that. You got a bit irate at Christmas. And it is goodbye from Jez.
See you next time.
And it is good night from me. We're Generation Skywalker. All eras, all passions, all stars.